I am Banks.
I am Josh.
Odd places going viral. Josh, take it away.
Yeah. Hey, Bangs, what's next?
What's next?
Yeah, what's next?
What's next?
What's next?
I'm gonna answer this question. That's what's next.
Okay, that's fine. And then after that, what's next?
And then I'm gonna wait for you to say something.
Okay. You can bring this a little higher level if you want. No, here's where I'm getting at. It's my favorite question. One of my favorite questions to ask is what's next?
Mm-hmm.
It's a mantra I live my life by. I'm always looking for what's next, and what's next.
Do you think that possibly you're living in the future?
Probably. But you know
Okay.
what? It's better than living in the past. The one place I don't want to live ever, 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 ever is in the past.
Okay, so you have three places to live, right? You have the
Correct.
past, you have the present, you have the future. So you would rather live 1 foot in the present, 1 foot in the future, correct?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
You're straddling that. Um, I see. I most of my life have always been in the future. I've rarely been in the present. A couple of times in my life, I had to stop and be in the present, and it was too painful. So I thought, you know what? If I can live, 6 minutes ahead of me, I'm good. I'm good there. But living in the present, here's the thing: living in the present, you have to deal with emotions. You have to deal with hardships. You have to deal with death. You have to. No, you don't have to. You are confronted, not deal. You are confronted with death, uh, uncertainty, vulnerability, sorrow, pain, all
But
these.
isn't that all in the past? Because the moment death happens, all the emotions that stem from it is reference to a past event. So how is that not living in the past if you're mourning the death of someone?
Okay, so if my 16-year-old girlfriend, my first so-called love in high
I was
school,
gonna say, man, look at you, 16-year-old girlfriend. Go for it.
that was way back in the 79, actually. She died, my girlfriend at the time, and I that was a thing that happened to me. Now, I had to process that. I had to go through that. I had to figure out, oh my gosh, this is no longer. How do I deal with this? Okay. Now, granted, it's something that happened in the past. I have to process it, which means I have to process it in the present. Okay.
Yeah.
And what I did was I jumped to the future to bypass the present. Now, at some day, that present that I did not deal with, that processing, I have to go back and deal with it because I'm going to keep on reliving the same problems and issues as it goes along.
Yeah.
That,
Yeah.
and I felt like I cheated my present self because I was jumping 6 minutes ahead, thinking about what's next. Where am I going next?
I guess what I'm doing is I'm shortening the time in the present. So along the lines of what you're saying, I follow the double D's: deal with it and disconnect. Deal and disconnect. So yeah, I do try and deal with present issues, but then I disconnect very quickly and I'm on to like what's next? What's next? Like I just can't help it. Like I want to keep creating, and every time I create, I'm always thinking, what's the next thing I'm going to create? I created something this morning. I have a whole new limerick. It's called polymericks or polymerics, something like that. Yeah, political limericks.
Oh, okay.
I got a whole company started just this morning, and I'm putting it. I don't know. I just, it's always like, what's next? What else can I do?
Do you think that you might be cheating your creativity? And I'm not saying cheating in a bad way. You're not giving the time your creativity needs to, mesh it and mold it and form it and you mold it into whatever you want it to be because you're thinking what's next. Polemics, if you stay with polemics, political limericks, and and you get like one, and then another one's hitting you, and another one, and you're like, okay. And I know you're thinking, what's next? What is the next limerick that can come up? And then at some point, you've exhausted that. I mean, you've come up with every idea. You know, I'm going to take this pen and figure out every way to use this pen besides using it as a pen. And at 9 times, I think, okay, I've exhausted that. What? And then is what's next? The point I'm saying is to be present in the process, and that is to deal with it, deal with creating this. If you want to get out, and I do this, I want to get out of dealing with it because it hurts. It's painful. My girlfriend at 16 died. Ouch, that hurts.
Yeah.
I as a person process through it so that I am complete to go on to the next.
See, now you're talking about tragic events as far as not wanting to process, and I understand that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about creation that I enjoy. I love creating limericks. I just rhyming, and oh my goodness, what fun. And then you're right. I do get ideas for future ones, but I make sure I finish the present one first because I want to get it out there. It does no good if it sits inside me half done. So I guess there's two kinds. You get the painful present, but you got the fun stuff that, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, let's look at this. Let me look at it a different way. What's next? That keeps you sharp. That keeps you like, you know, you're on the edge. Like, okay, what is?
It keeps me moving.
Yes. It keeps you heightened in a heightened state of, I think, a heightened state of being, a powerful state of being, because you are thinking creatively. You're like, okay, if this limerick and this political limericks, maybe we should do sexual limericks. Maybe we should do animal limericks. Maybe we should do, you know, emotional limericks, psychological, whatever. It keeps you just pushing the envelope. So I do see a value in that, to be creative. Like every morning when I write my joke from the joke book, 2020, I sit and I just hang out with it for a little while. Like, okay, what did I do yesterday that I felt was funny or can be funny? And all right, got it. Or what did I do this morning that would have been lighthearted? And I really make an effort to kind of journal this whole concept of, you know, telling a joke, of being creative and going, okay, what's next? However, I do have to sit in that joke for a while. I do have to have the graphic up and just like go, okay, what had happened yesterday? And I'm staying in this moment. I am living in the past, in the essence of, I've taken something in my past and I'm going to make it funny now.
Yeah. And I think if we just keep it at a higher level, when I say what's next, it's not so much task to task and like forcing yourself through them. It's more like always having direction and energy. And I like what you said, heightened state of consciousness. Always just thinking, what else can I be doing? How else can I be providing value to the world? How else can I be providing humor in your case, right? Or rhymes in my case. So it's expanding that.
I agree. And here's a point I want to make, and that is, when you are constantly going this way, I go into situations unintentionally. I'm going to this hangout one-on-one with a friend of mine tonight. Okay, we're going to hang out. My intention is that we're going to have a good time. We've had a good time every time we talk about stuff. Now, I like to keep it open where I'm not projecting what's going to happen. I have a clear view of where we're going to be, the physical aspect, the place, what we're going to talk about. I am letting that go wherever. So I'm not intentionally trying to have an agenda to make things go a certain way.
And that's okay, because you're not trying to create. That you're trying to experience, and that's great.
Yes.
I'm a creator. I just force myself into creation, probably too much to a fault, but I love creating.
Okay, so give me the differentiation between the two. I mean, so when you're experiencing and when you're creating are two different things, right?
My experiences inspire my creations, and my creations lead to experiences. So it's a cycle for sure.
Yeah, nice. I like that.
It's more like this kind of cycle. but yeah, you
Yeah.
know what I mean.
Yeah. So let me put it in context to here. When I'm on my computer and I'm writing my joke, that is creation. And when I'm going to hang out with my friend tonight, that's an experience. And that
Yes.
experience will lead to a creation, which will be my
Tomorrow.
joke for the next day.
That's right. Which will then, when you tell the joke, will give people another experience, or it
Okay.
might guide your future experiences. Yeah.
And even your creations turn into experiences for other people. So you're creating this polylimeric,
Polymeric. That's
polymeric.
polymeric.
Yeah. You're creating this polymeric, which is therefore creating value. That value gives people an experience to hope, and maybe to make them to create an area, a space for them to create also.
That's right.
I am Banks.
I am Josh.
The
How'd I do?
place is going
You're all
viral. Yeah. Hey, we did have this